Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use one of these paired up with one of these to hollow out one of these. Now overall, this is a quick and fun project. I hope you'll check out the entire video. If you're looking for a quick and easy gift idea, this is a great one. If you'd like to support the channel, I'll have links down in the description below so that you can pick up any of the tools that you see here. And if you want to see more of what we're doing, check us out at Tough Guys DIY anywhere you want on social media. Let's get going. So the main tool you're going to use for this is an oscillating tool. The one we have here is by Ryobi, but most of these are basically the same thing. The thing that sets them apart from each other is the type of blade that you're going to use. This is the multi-blade kit from Diablo that we are using, and I switched between the general purpose blade and the fast clean cutting blade. Both of them did pretty good, but as I got deeper into the book, the fast clean cutting wood blade did a lot better. But yeah, just try different blades and see which one works for you with the book that you choose. In our case, we chose this one by Elizabeth George called Something to Hide. Obviously, I picked the title of this book because the title added something funny to the fact that I was going to hollow out the interior. It's about 2.5 inches thick. If you wanted a bigger book, obviously you're going to be able to hide something deeper inside of it. I did remove the dust cover just to make sure I didn't cause any damage to that while cutting out the inside. And quick note, I'm not an advocate of destroying any sort of books, so if you're going to do this project, just know in advance you're destroying a book and you need to be okay with that. I started off by using a speed square to mark 1 inch around the outside perimeter of that cover page. Now you could again adjust this depending on what you're trying to store inside of the book. I didn't want it to be too thin around the outside because I thought that the sides might kind of collapse in. I used some of these mixing sticks just to give myself a small straight edge. You could have also used a small piece of wood or a piece of scrap. Anything to create a nice edge, and then I used a clamp to secure it down to the worktop. That way the book wouldn't be sliding around while I was trying to cut into it. And since this was my first time trying this actually accomplished two goals for me. One, it compressed all the pages together, which was an unintended good consequence, come to find out, but also, again, it gave me a nice straight line to keep the oscillating tool blade up against, so going the left, the right, the top, or the bottom. And here you can see how it kind of compressed the pages together on the top and the bottom. Ideally, I would have had clamps on the other side to evenly distribute everything, but this did work out pretty well just having the two clamps. Let's take a quick break to have a clean glass of water provided by today's video sponsor, Waterdrop. So how do we make sure we always have clean drinking water easily available? Well, it's with this TSA 8 by Waterdrop. Now this system specifically mounts under your sink and can pair with a number of different types of faucets, and more specifically it has an 8-stage filter. Now everything you need comes inside the box with this package, all the accessories and all the installation parts. The kit will include some Teflon tape, screws, and even mounting stickers to help you get this thing installed, especially when you're working in a tight space underneath your sink. And all of the main connections come with the faucet as well. The only thing you'll need to add is your 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch line, depending on your installation, and I'll show you that here in just a second. And remember, the TSA 8 system is designed to hook into your existing faucet, so me having an extra faucet is the reason you'll need those extra lines. Now the next thing we need to do is go underneath the sink, so come along with me and I'll show you how easy it is to install. The first step for the install, I wanted to get some reference measurements so I knew I mounted it high enough underneath the sink base so that I had room to remove the filters later. Once I had the lines where I wanted them, I used their installation sticker so that I knew exactly where to drill my holes for the fasteners so that I could install the TSA 8 system. Now, once I had the screws where I needed them and everything tightened to the correct distance, I was able to test fit everything to make sure it fit and that I could remove the filters nice and easily before getting all of the lines connected. I definitely recommend doing this so that you don't have it mounted too low. Now your last step is to get everything connected. Now for the faucet, you're going to connect that 1/4 inch line with the included connector and it screws onto the bottom of the faucet. I'm showing how that works here because from the underside I wasn't able to record it on the video. The faucet itself locks into the bottom of the counter with a locking ring and washer that are included in the package. With the faucet in place, connect your 1/4 inch adapter to the bottom, and then on the other side, you're going to put the line into the outlet. For the inlet, you're going to connect one of the included steel supply lines, which will go to either a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch angle stop underneath your sink. Once you have all that done, the water is ready to flow. So now we can enjoy clean drinking water whenever we need it with the TSA 8 by Waterdrop. All right, thanks for bearing with me through the little ad read there. So the first blade that I'm using is a general purpose blade. I have this one turned up to setting 5. On different types of oscillating tools, you're gonna have different speed settings. Kind of experiment with that to see what you want. I found that when I turned this one up all the way, it really just wasn't making as quick a progress as I wanted. Another thing to note is that cleaning off the dust regularly was another thing that helped me keep the cut clean as I went. I could see really quick that it was going to bunch up the paper dust that's created by cutting it. So every once in a while, I would take a page or two off the top before I continued on further. At this point, I'm still using the general purpose blade. It wasn't until I get it a little bit further in where this blade really just wasn't doing as well. And obviously that's because the teeth are smaller, at least that's what's obvious to me. And again, just keeping it clean as you go, you'll start to see that the little bits of paper get really caked up in there and really don't allow you to get a clean cut. And I was also kind of worried that I might get a little fire started in there if I pushed the blade too far into the book. Now I want to mention, since I'm using time-lapse footage here and everything's going super fast, is that I'm actually going quite slow as I'm cutting it. And I'm making sure that I'm only removing 10-15 pages each step. As you keep pressure on that oscillating tool, it just starts to kind of burn out as it gets any deeper than that. And going really slow just makes the cut a lot smoother and less stress on the tool overall. And again, I didn't want to start a fire inside of the book. These clips are sped up anywhere between 1,000% and 1,200%. So it kind of gives you an idea of how much faster it's actually moving in the video here than I was actually moving in real life. Using the vacuum to keep things clean was sort of an afterthought, but as I got into doing this, I'm really glad that I had a vacuum handy so that I could get all this dust cleaned up, because it creates an enormous amount of dust. So if you're doing this inside your house, be prepared for that. I definitely recommend doing it out in a garage or in your workshop, and again, have a vacuum handy so that you're not just creating a huge dust cloud in there. I was wearing a mask as well. It was an RZ mask that has a carbon filter. I'm not sponsored by RZ or anything like that. I just been using those masks for many years. You can see it here in the video. I do recommend that. Now at this stage, I've switched over to the clean wood blade, and you can see how much more of a section I'm able to remove at that point. Again, I wasn't able to remove that much when I was using the general purpose blade. So once I got deeper into the book, I felt like wanted to just save some time. So I switched over to a different blade, and it actually had great success. But yeah, overall, I think it turned out pretty good. Once I got everything cleaned up, I was able to kind of take a step back and look at what I had created. The edges were a little poofy. I guess that's the only way I can describe it. Those little 1-inch strips at the top and the bottom, they're not super rigid, they're kind of loose. So I used a razor knife to clean up all of the little bits that were still sticking out, and just cleaned up the edges and cleaned up the bottom piece so that there weren't any chunks of book still in there, any pages. The top and bottom, I've seen some other creators use glue there to help secure that, but I didn't want to risk messing anything up. And to be honest, the heat from cutting kind of fused everything together enough for me that the pages were keeping their shape even when the book was closed with the hole cut out in the center. But yeah, wrapping everything up is the best part, and getting to stand back and see that this was a success. We used it as a gift, and it worked pretty well for storing things on the inside. If you have any questions about this build, please let me know down in the comments below, or hit me up on social media. And thank you so much for checking out this video. I'll see you in the next project.